Hi, it's Friday, it's 3 o'clock, or at least it is if you're watching this recorded live. But in any case, it's something for the weekend. And again, if you're watching this midweek, you will still find plenty of interest. I'm Ju Gosling, also known as the artist Ju90, and I'm artistic director of Together 2012, the community interest company that's bringing you this show. We're disabled led. We're based in the main Paralympic host borough of Newham, and we're creating a Paralympic cultural legacy in East London and now online. With me in my studio in Canning Town, where she's been locked down for longer than we can remember, we gave up counting after the first 100 days, is our chair, the artist Julie Newman. As always, we're dressed up to go out to stay in. So we're going to come back to Canning Town in a minute and tell you what we're dressed up to go out to stay in to do today. But first, some introductions, audio description, and explanation of their costumes from our other end of the virtual wheeled sofa, all the way to Sutton Coldfield in the West Midlands.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to um, Together TV this week. I forgot what I was saying there. Honestly, I'm upstaged by the flamboyancy next to me. So I will go first as I'm very mundanely dressed. Mainly due to I've absolutely run out of anything new to wear at all. So I thought I would actually wear something I'm going to dress up and actually go out for because our swimming club has its first competitive event. It's virtual, but it is an inter-club event for the first time since March 2020. So we have lots of very excited young swimmers ready to compete this weekend. Um, so I'm wearing my coach's shirt. So I should have described it. Sorry. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself there. So I am sat in front of the lovely theatre curtains, which we have behind us, obviously stopping any fires that approach from behind. I am still, I do actually have slightly scruffy, silvery white hair today. I'm not sure what happened there. And blue eyes behind, no rimmed black armed glasses that keep falling apart, I might add. So I'll have some new ones soon. I am wearing a purple polo shirt. It's the Orion Swimming Club's colors are purple and white. And we have the club logo on the right breast. So as I say, we're called Orion, and it's a depiction of Orion and the stars in the sky in a circle in purple and white. And then on my right breast, it says Robin, head coach, junior squad, because that's me.
And you're not really going out much at all, like the rest of us who are. Well, we haven't been out at all in however many months, but the swimming's actually very safe, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually I'm going out, but to swimming pools. That's it. um, which
Very
kind of
useful
sounds.
for somebody who's also known as Angry Fish. So, moving on to your lovely companion.
Hello, and I'm Tracy Surgener, and yes, I'm in our studio in Sutton Coldfield, and I am dressed today. I've got a wide brimmed cream and black hat to keep the sun off my face, bit of a clue to where I'm going. My hair is down. I've got quite long hair now, it's just past my shoulders. Um, I'm wearing a long sleeved purpley pink t shirt, and I've got a multicoloured sort of lightweight throw that I've got over my shoulders, and it's got a few tassels on it. Multicoloured, it's sort of pink and blue and yellowy, and it's quite comfy. Around my neck, I have got my trusty lightweight camera, and I've got some easy leggings on, and I'm wearing all of these things because I'm going on a virtual, I must say, a virtual tour of it's a walk around tour, which should be interesting because I use my wheelchair, but it'd be interesting to see where I can go when I'm not actually doing it. A walk around tour of St. Petersburg, and I've been told it's very hot there at the moment, hence my sun hat.
Well, it sounds lovely, but in fact, I think you've got a dual purpose outfit like mine because I'm sure everybody already knows it's Mental Health Awareness Week this week. And maybe what you've not heard so much about is the theme of nature. So I would suggest that if I was sitting looking out into my garden or even out on a sunny patio looking at nature, because we've all seen the photos of your lovely garden, that outfit would be very appropriate for that too. So I am wearing, again, in honour of Mental Health Awareness Week and the nature theme, I am dressed up to go out to stay in to do a little bit of home gardening. And here is my show and tell prop. It is a ice cream tub, which has got 2 or 3, because that's all you need in one tub, little cut and come again salad leaves. And I did this for the very first time last year. I think we talked a lot in our previous show, Together Unlocked, about photographing things that we could see from the window, photographing things outside. Julie's got us all interested in astronomy. But I thought, let's get back to basics. It's lovely to be able to grow your own food when you're reliant just on supermarket deliveries and no longer have people able to just pop out to the shops. We don't get salad more than once a fortnight, or, if then, because not every supermarket has got salad in stock. So just being able to grow your leaves, it's incredibly cheap. You can grow them in anything. And the clue is in the name. The more you cut them, the more they grow and come again. So to do that, I've got a purple baseball cap. I've got pale olive skin with green eyes behind black plastic glasses. I've got a purple t-shirt that says Mad Love on it. I have silver coloured jewellery. And that's about it, really. Behind us, you can see a little bit of our famous Together 2012 graffiti banner. And you can also see the teddy bear that will be competing to see who is going to be the medal wearer, or should I say the medal bearer, in the coming week for our Clockwork Paralympics. And that is coming up in the second half of the show. But I'm also dressed up to go out to stay in to celebrate International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia and Transphobia, or Ida Hobbit, as it's known in our community, which is an international day coming up on Monday. So I'm going to hand over to Julie, who is dressed up for Ida Hobbit. Robin is going to recommend some events later, but when Julie has audio described herself, we're just going to talk a little bit more about our involvement with the beginnings of Ida Hobbit.
Thank you, Ju. I'm Julie Newman. I'm the chair of Together 2012. Today I wear my, is it black? My black berry. I can't tell by checking in the monitor, over my gold and silver hair, which is like Tracy's now hitting me shoulders. I'm wearing a purple velour and patchwork jacket, and on the lapel I have a very pleasant little lizard, which I think is rather splendid, sort of pewtery. And underneath that I have my Regard t-shirt.
And Regard, for anybody who doesn't know, is the national organisation for disabled people from the LGBTQI plus communities. I'm going to put a link up. Membership is free and everybody's welcome as a member. There's associate membership for people who don't identify as being disabled and LGBTQI plus. So I'm going to put that up later on our highlights and links page, and this is a good time to plug it. If you go to our website, www.together2012.org.uk, under the main Together 2012 TV page, where you can find the recordings of all the shows, you can also find a link through to highlights and links. And there we will publish everything that we're going to show you on the show today, and all of the links ready for you to click through really easily. But we were talking about this, weren't we, Julie? And remembering that, in fact, in the very early days of Ida Hobbit, we were recruited to do some photography. And a young volunteer had a really brilliant idea, which was that whatever our legal rights, it's still really difficult and dangerous just to be seen in public holding hands if you're the same sex. And that could just be friends. It doesn't have to be people in a relationship. So they set up a campaign for people to just very simply, when they felt it was safe, hold hands, take a photo and upload it. And they commissioned some photographs to kick the campaign off, which were produced as posters. And here is Julie wearing the identical jacket that she has on now. We're not quite sure when this was taken, but we did recall it's been used so much since, including that first year appearing on the front page of a gay men's magazine in Brazil. And if I was going to think about any kind of cover star for a gay men's magazine in Brazil, this would be really the complete opposite of what you could expect. For anybody who couldn't see it, it's Julie and I sitting in our wheelchairs holding hands on the Millennium Bridge with St Paul's Cathedral in the background, and my previous assistant's dog getting almost blown off the bridge because it's so windy, pretending that we always go for a walk in central London, or I should say a roll in central London. Whereas, in fact, I think it was the first time that we'd ever done it. So that's Ida Hobbit. There's lots of things coming up, and we will talk more about that in the second half of the show when we look at what's happening in the week ahead. But first, we're going to start with some poems from this week's Together 2012 Pop-Up Poetry Club. This week's theme was a sunny day, and if you would like to join in from home, next week's theme is birds. And apparently, when the group started discussing this, they came up with all sorts of different ways you could interpret this theme, including Charlie Parker, the musician who was known as Bird. So do have some fun with that, and we would love to see your poems. Julie, I think you've got one to start with from Taylor Henville, who's also one of our volunteers.
I do. This is from Taylor, and it's called Sunny Day. Sunny day, the month of May, chasing all the grey away. Blue skies ahead, no more dread. Bees buzzing in the flower bed. Sunny day, shining bright. Warm, yellow, golden light that softly fades out of sight into lazy, hazy, purple night.
Thanks. That was wonderful, Taylor. I have one from Alison Marchant, who leads our club's programme. And Alison's been experimenting with a cut-up technique where she takes things off the internet that are describing the subject and puts them together. So this is Alison Marchant, Sunny Day. Sunny or clear means there are no clouds in the sky. Sunlight refers to the electromagnetic radiation of the sun that reaches the earth, visible light and ultraviolet light. Most of the sun's radiation does not reach the earth's surface. Some of it's absorbed in the atmosphere while others are scattered to space. The colour of the sun is white. The sun emits all colours of the rainbow. This combination is white light. This is why we can see so many different colours in the natural world under the illumination of sunlight. Today is a sunny day, and the brain produces more of the mood-lifting chemical serotonin on sunny days than on darker days. Thank you for that, Alison. As always, it makes a lot of sense when you put it all together, and I really recommend it as a technique for anybody with writer's block or who just wants to have a bit of fun. So, Robin, I think you have a poem for us from one of our male contributors.
Yeah, I think I'll start with the one from Glory. So this is from Glory Sengo, and again, another regular contributor to much art for Together. So this is indeed called Sunny Day. I'm just going to put it where I'm not looking away from the camera. When I was out in the sun, I was swimming at the beach. I was looking at the sun with my sunglasses on. And I went to dry myself, dress up and go to lunch. I went to have fish and chips and have a drink too.
I love the way Gloria's poems always come back to what he ate at the end. The only thing I find after more than 13 months depending on ourselves for food is I get more and more distracted by the thought of the chicken and chips or the fish and chips or just the chips. So keep those coming, Glory. Tracy, I think you have one from Dawn Barber.
I have, yeah. This is Dawn Barber's poem called Sunny Afternoon. As I walk along the bridge on a sunny day, I look down at the water. I can hear the birds singing in the trees. A man on the bike waves at me as he goes by, and I wave back. It's a lovely, quiet time to think of all my lovely memories. Some ducks swim along the water, and I watch and smile for a while. I hear church bells ring, and as I look up to the sun, I hold out my arms, and give thanks for this lovely sunny afternoon.
Oh, that was very evocative, Dawn. Thank you so much. I'd just like to add a quick explanation about the Together 2012 Pop Up Poetry Club. It's free to any disabled person who can access it and anybody you wish to have with you. And it's by phone, and we pay all of the costs. We phone you, add you to a group call, and like I say, we pay for it. So, if, like, for example, Dawn, you don't have any internet access, it's a particularly good group to be able to join. Or if you're watching this but actually don't have enough data to be able to join our Zoom clubs, it runs from 10:30 to 12, just as it did when we were delivering it in person. And we do very much what we did when we were delivering it in person, which is you get added to the call before 10:30 so that everybody can start promptly. People share poems they've found or poems they've written that relate to the day's theme. We might do some breathing exercises or some voice exercises. Then we suspend the call while people go off and do some writing and come back and share it. So the only thing that is really different is we have to get you to provide your own hot drinks and biscuits, which is something the Pop Up Poetry Club has always thrived. So I'll have the details on the highlights and links page, or just drop us a line, info@together2012.org.uk. So I think you have a poem from Dwayne Bryan for us, Robin.
I do. So thanks, Dwayne. This is called Sunny Day. When I woke up, this sun was shining. You can tell that spring and summer are near, and you feel wonderful. You haven't got a care. The trees start to blossom and produce wonderful plants. You might catch a sweat and feel a bit hot and bothered, but with just spring water or a fan, I'll be a happier man.
Thank you for that, Dwayne. And it's a good reminder that it might be a little bit later this year, thank goodness, but that hot London weather is just around the corner. So finally, you have a poem for us, Julie.
Yes, thank you. Uh, Mine is called Sunshine. Breaking through the grey clouds, a ray of sun does shine, a gift on this cold, cold day. And then the sight of bees in crowds gathering at the flowers on the vine gives us hope of June in May. Looking out onto the waking world, the sky starts to lighten. Little flashes of colour in the pots show promises of flowers as petals unfurl. Birds are singing louder as skies brighten, and flocks start to gather sitting on rooftops. A little glimpse of sunshine opens the day ahead. It warms the hardest of hearts and calms the rampaging breast. The colours form and glow, pinks among the reds, lavender, blue, and honeysuckle starts to bud as the birds create their nests.
Oh, that was great. And all of those poems fit in really, really well with the Mental Health Awareness Week theme of nature. So we're going to move on and take a look at what's been happening in the Together 2012 Art Club. And we're going to start off with this morning's Still Life session. The Art Club runs 2 sessions a week on a Tuesday and a Friday morning. We used to deliver a 2-hour session in person, but that's just an hour on Zoom. So we've slightly changed the format. So on a Friday, instead of open drawing and painting, where we're able to provide people with a big choice of materials, people are really dependent on what they've got at home. So what we do is we have a still life session, and Alison Marchant creates a photograph of a still life each week, which she's then able to share over Zoom. Now, if you'd like to join in, but you don't have enough data for Zoom, we could also email you the photo on a Friday morning or text you the photo on a Friday morning. But if you do want to join in on Zoom, obviously that's quite a sociable thing to do. And it's just, I think, nice for everybody to be able to show each other the work. And Alison starts with a really sort of thorough piece of audio description of the image. And it's an opportunity to be really mindful. So we're very much trying to make that session on a Friday, mindful too. So again, very relevant to Mental Health Awareness Week. So I'm going to pop up this image on the screen. So this is this week's still life. And what we have is an open fan. It's quite a nice but basic fan. So it's got a dark brown center. It's lighter brown around the edges. There's just one little bit of printing on it. And then it's all coming out of a black folder at the bottom. And round it, there's some pale pink rose-shaped lights, and a couple of the lights are on. I think they must be battery operated lights. So that's a really lovely, unusual still life, and it's all just propped up against a white background. So there's some interesting shadows as well. So I'm just going to take that off and show you some of the work that came through from this morning. And this is Sophia, and Sophia's done a great job actually. And Sophia's managed to use yellow and brown and red felt tip. So that's great. And here is another one done in felt tip. And I am struggling to see whose that is, but I think it's Glory Sengo's.
Style-wise, I'd have said that was Glory.
Yes, I mean, it's very, very energetic. He's really occupied the page well. Yeah, I mean, there's just real energy in the way that the pencil and the felt tip is being used again. And again, he's used pencil for the shadow, and he's used felt tip in red, yellow, and brown for the fan and the rose lights. Now, this one is Eve Smith's. I think it's slightly photographed at a strange angle, but again, a very, very good job with the picture. Lots and lots of pencil and energy, and brown for the shadow. So yes, I really like that. Well done, Eve. And just finally from this morning, this one is from Crystal Peasy, who's been able to use paint. And that looks really, really nice in sort of different pale colours, including, of course, the roses. So that's great. Well done, Crystal. And I just next wanted to show you this picture that's come in from Tracy Vidal. Tracy is a member of the art club. This is a pair of canvases she's been working on from home. And they're very stylized goldfishes on canvases with a sort of pale blue background just facing each other. Perfect, I think, for a family bathroom. I really like those, Tracy. So again, if you want to send us in your pictures, we would be very pleased to see them. So I'm just going to go back briefly to Tuesday, when the art club has its Make and Natter session. And the Make and Natter session is an opportunity just to get to know each other a bit better, although we always say, as artists, you know, we leave our problems behind and we talk about our favorite colors and what we like to do in art and everything else. What we do with the Make and Natter session is you have two choices. The first choice is to join in with an activity that Alison leads based on recycling materials you already have at home. And the other option is just to bring along the craft project that you're working on anyway and be able to show it to people, answer questions, you know, might give other people ideas. People might have some ideas if you want ways to develop it. So that's why we call it Make and Natter. And this is Sophia. And Sophia is holding up just the beginning of cutting out and folding out paper. So this is a series of, I think, hearts that Sophia has made by using the pleating technique that Tracy used in one of her sessions, which we will come on to. So yes, Tracy's been using this pleating technique and they decided they'd look at folding paper and cutting paper. And this is what Crystal Peasy's managed. So Crystal has got, I think, a line of green hearts, 2 lines of purple hearts, 2 lines of blue people, and a line of a line of purple people in robes, which I think for a very first time is really impressive. And then I've just got this further one, and apologies, I'm not entirely sure because the image name has disappeared whose this is, but it's a very small set that look like they've been cut out more with something a little bit more card-like, so it does give it an interesting texture. But one of the things we always aim to do with the craft program is to have really simple, accessible, inclusive techniques that you can also use in fine art. And paper folding and cutting out simple shapes is no exception to that. You can also get much more complicated as you go on. And you can do it with any kind of paper. So if, like us, you've had stacks of junk mail turning up despite everybody else moving online, we've always had lots of ideas about what you could then do with it. But now we're going to move on to one of Tracy's activities, specially delivered to join in with from home. And you've used blank paper for this, but again, I think you probably could use other kinds of paper too. And I'm just going to pop up the finished product and get you to tell us about it.
Okay. Yeah. This is my attempt at Russian dolls. As you can see, my artwork isn't the greatest, but I quite enjoyed having fun. And it is a folding technique. This is my completed set of dolls. So they vary in size, they get smaller and smaller. And it is a folding technique, and it's actually quite an easy technique. Now I've done a few, but it was quite easy to start with. So yeah, this week I've looked at what we can do with just folding paper.
Yeah, could we just have a little bit of audio description? I'm
Yes.
reluctant to try it myself because I know I'm going to get it wrong.
Yeah, we're looking at a series of 6 triangle without the top cut off. I suppose it looks like an upside down cone, really. And the idea is that I've made the first 3 are varying in size. So we've got a large, a middle, and a small. And then the following 3 are the same size as the small, going down to mini, and then going down to even smaller. The idea with Russian dolls is that they all fit inside each other and they look pretty identical. So the first 3 all look the same. They've got like a red scalloped pattern at the top. We've got the doll's face, the traditional sort of doll's face, the hair, cheeks, lips, and little eyes. And then what you do is you sort of draw a line across the paper over the in front of the head, and then just carry on with the pattern underneath. So that's the first 3. The second 3, I've gone for slightly different. I've got the dolls with the hair in a bun, and I've used some tape, just some coloured tape, to make a dress design.
So I'm going to move on and look at the pictures so you can just explain the stages of the making. But when I saw these, I came straight back and said, I can see another reason to use them, which is that if you are trying to block out a play or a film because you're a writer or a director, it's brilliant, particularly at the moment when you can't do a lot of rehearsal in person, to be able to, yes, just use
yeah.
these dolls. You can do them in different sizes, so you can fit them inside each other to put them away. And my suggestion in that case would be print out photographs of your